Let's get right into it. Imagine the power goes out. Your phone's dead, the internet is down. What's the one thing that still works? For a lot of people, it's that battery-powered radio. Today, we're taking a look at the world of disaster planning for the very broadcasters who become our lifeline when we need them most. Now, everything we're going to talk about today is pulled from a super detailed guide. It was put together by the folks at Virtualization Options LLC, and believe me, they've laid out a fantastic roadmap for broadcasters trying to navigate all this. And just so you know, this is actually part 5 of a bigger 10-part series breaking down this guide. So in this chunk, we're really focusing on the fundamentals, understanding the mission, the unique challenges, and some of the key ideas you need to build a solid plan. I mean, this sentence right here, it really says it all, doesn't it? This isn't just about keeping a business up and running. It's about a fundamental public service. It's about this huge responsibility that lands squarely on the shoulders of your local broadcasters. So let's dig into what that really means. So let's break down this mission. The guide gives it a name that I think is perfect: the first informer responsibility. And honestly, it's a role that broadcast radio is just uniquely built for. Just think about it for a second. When a real emergency hits, what are the first things to go down? Modern communication. Cell towers get completely overloaded, internet cables get cut, but that good old AM or FM broadcast signal, it just cuts right through all that chaos, reaching radios that are running on nothing but a couple of D batteries. It is quite literally the last line of communication, the ultimate lifeline. But here's the reality check, right? The stations that are actually doing this critical work, they're not always these giant corporate networks with bottomless pockets. Way more often, they're the small, local guys, the mid-size operators who are facing some very, very real-world problems. And this list just lays it all out. Limited budgets mean you've got to stretch every single dollar. A smaller engineering staff, that can mean one person is the chief engineer, the IT guy, and the maintenance crew all rolled into one. In aging equipment, wow, that is a constant uphill battle against wear and tear. These aren't just excuses, They're the real-world facts that any practical disaster plan has to face head-on. Okay, so we know the stakes are incredibly high and the resources can be seriously low. Now, let's get into the specific threats these stations are up against. The guide kind of splits them into 2 main buckets: the stuff happening outside and the risks coming from inside their own infrastructure. First, you've got Mother Nature, and depending on where that station is on the map, they could be staring down the barrel of literally anything on this list. You got hurricanes on the coast, tornadoes tearing through the plains, wildfires out west, or just crippling ice storms up north. A good plan has to be built for the local flavor of disaster. But, the danger isn't always coming from the outside. A station can get knocked off the air just as fast by something breaking inside. A main transmitter could just give up the ghost. The link from the studio to the transmitter could get cut, or maybe the backup generator just decides not to start. Every single piece of gear in that chain is a potential weak spot that has to be planned for. So you're looking at all these risks, and you're probably thinking, where do I even begin? Well, it starts by defining what winning even looks like in a disaster. The pros use 2 key concepts to do this, and they are basically the bedrock of any serious recovery plan. First up, we've got the Recovery Time Objective, or RTO. It's actually a pretty simple but really powerful idea. It's all about answering one question: what's the absolute longest we can be off the air before it becomes a real catastrophe? Is that 5 minutes? Is it an hour? Nailing down your RTO pretty much dictates everything else you do. And the other side of that coin is the Recovery Point Objective, or RPO. Now, this one isn't about how long you're off the air. It's about how much stuff you lose, your data. If your main system crashes and you have to go to a backup, how much are you willing to lose? The last hour of commercials and logs, or just the last 15 minutes? A shorter RPO means you've got to be backing things up way more often. So here's the bottom line. For that small or mid-sized station, getting ready for a disaster isn't just some tech-heavy exercise. It really is about answering this one question right here. Because when the worst happens, that station, it's not just a business anymore. It's a beacon. And making absolutely sure that beacon stays lit is maybe the most important promise a broadcaster can make to the people they serve.